fun, delicious recipes. They're very filling and delicious and satisfying. You can impress your family and friends with a new recipe for the holidays if you want to. What we're making, I know this recipe said potato gratin, but what it actually is potato apple celery gratin. This is a recipe that I learned from certified master chefs over 2 years ago, and I've like sold it so many times. It's really so good. It's delicious, very simple. But we also have a kopula. You ever heard of this before, anybody? Anybody, any translations from French to English on what that means?
Yes, please.
Chicken and wine, yeah. Cock and wine. So a lot of people might say money, and maybe usually they have to say money by cooking a rooster. The rooster is very tough. So the chicken that you typically eat is a female, it's the hen. And rooster is very tough, and you have to stew it for a long time in wine. We're not cooking to rooster today, but we're going to braise it low and slow and really nicely in wine. I'll tell you a little story about that. I was at dinner with some friends a few weeks ago, and this gentleman from France, we were talking about places to eat, and of course he asked me, he's like, do you have any strong leeks? And I understood immediately what he said, because there's a dish like coq au vin, which calls for the chicken, salt and pepper, the mirepoix, all these great ingredients, but restaurant leek is a restaurant that's slightly elevated in their understanding of the chemistry of food. So you might take all these ingredients of the coq au vin that you're going to see in a little bit, and you can cook it with the chemistry and the technique in mind, or you could like throw all the same ingredients in one pot, completely different dishes. So we're going to understand the technique and how to incorporate flavor, how to incorporate texture, and a nice richness in a dish like coq au vin. Also, we're making an apple tart tatin. Yeah, that is a fun dish. I think it already puts a lot of smile on people's faces. Has anyone ever heard of the story of apple tart tatin? Okay, so there are these Tatin sisters, Stephanie and Caroline, about 150 years ago, somewhere south of Paris. And they ran this hotel. They ran a gastronomy in the hotel. And the story goes, there's many versions of it. What I learned in culinary school is that one day they had like high volume of customers, low staff, few ingredients. So they took some apples and some butter, some sugar through the pan and threw in the oven. And that's how they made the tart, the apple tart that has that upside down apple pie. So I learned to make this some years ago, and I remember one of the chefs I learned from, I'm not going to say who he is, because he had a nice fancy restaurant. I went to his restaurant one day for a luncheon, and I looked at the menu and it said apple tart tatin. So I was like, oh wow, it's apple tart tatin. Where is apple tart tatin? Where are they making it? I saw 2 apple pies on the counter. He tried to pass off apple pies, apple tart tatin. I couldn't believe it. So let's start. We're not going to do things in a perfect order. We're going to do things to kind of coordinate and get things done. You are working in groups today, so for the first few seconds,